Have you ever felt completely drained, as if life's challenges are pressing down on you from every side? You've prayed, hoped, and tried, but the weight just doesn't lift. Maybe your heart feels heavy, your spirit weary, and your mind restless. This video is for you. Today we're going to unlock a powerful prayer for healing, strength, and deliverance. A prayer that can bring peace to your mind, courage to your heart, and hope to every part of your life. You don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to have all the answers. All you need is faith and a willingness to open your heart. By the end of this video, you will feel a sense of calm you haven't felt in weeks, months, or even years. You'll discover the power of letting go, trusting, and allowing God to restore every part of your life that feels broken or heavy. Stay with me, because this isn't just any prayer. This is a prayer that can shift your energy, heal your heart, and guide you toward the strength and deliverance you've been searching for. Your journey to peace begins right now. Many people reach a moment in life when everything feels too heavy to carry. The mind becomes tired, the heart feels weak, problems appear from every direction. At that moment, a person begins to search for hope. Deep inside, the soul knows that human strength is limited. This is often the moment when someone finally turns toward God in prayer, seeking healing, strength, and peace that the world cannot give. When a believer chooses to pray, something begins to shift inside the heart. Prayer is not only speaking words, it is opening the soul to the presence of God. It is trusting that heaven is listening. In the quiet moments of sincere prayer, fear slowly loses its power. Anxiety becomes smaller. Faith begins to grow stronger again. Many people underestimate the power of a simple prayer. They believe their problems are too large or too complicated. Yet throughout history, countless believers have found healing and breakthrough through prayer. When the heart calls out honestly, God hears every word, even the ones that are spoken with tears. This prayer for healing, strength, and deliverance begins with surrender. It begins when a person stops carrying every burden alone. The moment someone invites God into the struggle, the journey toward restoration begins. Prayer opens the door for divine help, renewed courage, and a new sense of hope. Life often teaches people to depend on their own abilities. From a young age, many are told to solve problems alone and appear strong in every situation. But spiritual battles cannot always be solved through human effort. Some struggles require something deeper. They require faith and connection with God. Prayer becomes the believer's strongest weapon during those moments. It invites God's wisdom into confusion. It brings divine comfort during pain. When someone prays sincerely, they are no longer facing the challenge alone. They are placing their situation into the hands of a higher power. Many successful people still turn to prayer during difficult seasons. They understand that strength does not only come from knowledge or resources. True strength comes from spiritual grounding. Prayer creates a moment where the mind becomes calm and the heart reconnects with purpose. This powerful prayer for healing and deliverance reminds believers that they are never abandoned. When someone calls on God with faith, they open the door for guidance, restoration, and a renewed sense of direction that can transform their entire life. Physical illness can change the way a person sees the world. Pain can make each day feel longer and heavier. Sometimes doctors, medicine, and treatments are part of the healing journey. But emotional and spiritual support are also deeply important. Healing often begins when hope returns to the heart. Prayer provides a space where someone can release fear about the future. It allows the mind to rest and trust that healing is possible. Even when circumstances look difficult, prayer reminds believers that God's care is still present in every moment. Many people have experienced unexpected improvement after turning to prayer during sickness. While healing may come in different ways and different timing, The act of praying brings peace and courage to continue moving forward. It strengthens the spirit while the body continues its recovery. This prayer asks God to bring comfort, strength, and restoration to anyone facing illness. It invites divine care into the situation and encourages the believer to trust that even in weakness, hope can grow stronger each day. Not every struggle is visible to others. Some battles happen quietly inside the heart and mind. Stress, disappointment, and emotional wounds can slowly drain a person's strength. From the outside, everything may look normal, but inside the person feels tired and overwhelmed. Prayer creates a safe place where these hidden struggles can be released. It allows someone to speak honestly about their fears, worries, and pain. When those emotions are placed before God, the heart begins to feel lighter and more peaceful. Many people discover that prayer brings emotional healing over time. It helps them gain clarity about their situation. It also reminds them that their value and identity are not defined by temporary struggles or difficult circumstances. This prayer for strength asks God to restore the tired heart. It asks for courage to face another day and for wisdom to move forward with confidence. Even when life feels uncertain, prayer becomes a source of steady support. There are moments when certain struggles feel like chains that cannot easily be broken. Habits, fears, and negative thoughts can trap someone in a cycle that feels impossible to escape. Over time, these patterns can steal joy and weaken confidence. Deliverance prayer focuses on breaking those chains. It is a request for freedom from anything that blocks a healthy and peaceful life. When someone turns to God for help, they are asking for the power to overcome what once controlled them. Many people have found new beginnings after sincerely praying for deliverance. They discovered the courage to change harmful patterns and move toward a better future. Prayer strengthens the will to make choices that lead to freedom and personal growth. This prayer asks God to remove burdens and guide the believer toward a life of peace, purpose, and emotional freedom. It reminds the listener that no struggle is permanent when hope and faith are present. Faith plays an important role in every meaningful prayer. Words spoken without belief can feel empty, but when the heart truly trusts that God is listening, prayer becomes powerful and transformative. Faith does not require perfection. It only requires a sincere desire to trust in something greater than personal limitations. Even small faith can inspire great change because it shifts the focus away from fear and toward possibility. Throughout many stories of spiritual growth, faith has been the spark that begins healing. When people believe that improvement is possible, their mindset changes. They become more patient, more resilient, and more hopeful about the future. This prayer encourages believers to strengthen their faith while seeking healing and deliverance. It invites them to trust that God understands every need and is able to guide them through even the most difficult seasons. Difficult times often arrive without warning. A person may wake up one day and realize that life has suddenly changed. Financial stress, relationship struggles, or unexpected loss can create deep uncertainty. During these moments, many people feel alone and confused about what to do next. Prayer becomes a way to slow down and reconnect with wisdom beyond human understanding. It offers guidance when the path ahead feels unclear. When someone prays during hardship, they create space for reflection and inner peace. Instead of reacting with panic or fear, prayer helps them respond with patience and clarity. This prayer asks God to provide direction and comfort during challenging seasons. It reminds believers that even during storms, hope can remain strong and the future can still hold new opportunities. Waiting for answers can sometimes be one of the hardest parts of faith. People often hope for quick solutions to their problems. When those answers take time, it can test patience and confidence. Prayer helps believers remain calm during the waiting period. Instead of feeling frustrated, They can focus on trusting that every situation is unfolding according to a greater plan. Many meaningful breakthroughs happen after periods of waiting. During that time, people often gain wisdom, maturity, and deeper understanding of their purpose. This prayer asks God for patience and trust while waiting for healing and deliverance. It encourages believers to remain hopeful even when the results are not immediate. God's presence can bring peace into the most stressful situations. When someone feels surrounded by worry or confusion, prayer invites a sense of calm that helps them think clearly again. People often search for comfort in many different places. Some look for reassurance in success or approval from others. Yet true peace comes when the heart reconnects with God through prayer. In moments of quiet prayer, the mind becomes still and the spirit becomes stronger. It reminds the believer that they are supported and cared for even during uncertain times. This prayer asks God to remain close and guide each step of the journey. It welcomes divine presence into everyday life and seeks strength for whatever challenges may come. Many people carry invisible burdens every day. Worries about family, health, work, and the future can quietly weigh down the mind. Over time, this constant pressure can drain emotional energy. Prayer offers a moment to release those burdens and experience relief. It allows someone to speak honestly about their concerns without fear of judgment. When the heart becomes lighter, hope returns. The believer begins to see possibilities instead of obstacles. This shift in mindset often brings new motivation to keep moving forward. This prayer invites God's peace to enter every part of life. It asks for healing where there is stress and for strength where there is weakness, creating a renewed sense of balance and calm. Sometimes people carry wounds that are not visible to others. Past disappointment, betrayal, or loss can leave deep marks on the heart. These memories can return again and again, creating quiet pain that is difficult to explain. Many try to ignore these feelings, but hidden wounds rarely disappear on their own. Prayer allows a person to bring those emotional scars into a safe place. When someone speaks honestly before God, they no longer need to hide their pain. It becomes a moment of release. The heart begins to breathe again, and the burden slowly becomes lighter. Healing of the heart often begins with small steps. Forgiveness, understanding, and patience are part of the journey. Prayer helps guide those steps. It brings calm to the mind and helps someone see their situation with greater clarity and hope. This prayer asks God to restore the broken places inside the heart. It seeks emotional healing, renewed courage, and the strength to move forward without being controlled by past pain. Many people begin their day carrying worries about the future. Questions about finances, health, family, or career can create constant pressure. These thoughts often appear early in the morning and follow someone throughout the entire day. Prayer creates a moment of pause before the stress begins to grow. It allows a person to place their concerns in God's hands instead of carrying everything alone. This small act of trust can completely change the direction of the day. When the mind starts the day with prayer, it becomes calmer and more focused. Problems still exist, but they no longer feel impossible. Faith begins to replace fear, and the heart gains quiet confidence. This prayer asks God to guide the day ahead. It seeks wisdom for decisions, strength for responsibilities, and peace for the moments when life feels overwhelming. Life sometimes leads people through seasons of loneliness. Friends may be busy, family may be far away. In those quiet moments, a person can begin to feel forgotten or unseen. Prayer reminds believers that they are never truly alone. Even when the world feels distant, God remains present. Speaking to Him in prayer becomes a powerful reminder that someone is always listening. During prayer, the heart begins to experience comfort. The silence no longer feels empty. Instead, it becomes a space where hope slowly grows again. This prayer asks God to fill lonely moments with peace and reassurance. It invites divine companionship and reminds the believer that their life still has purpose and meaning. Some struggles come from fear about what might happen tomorrow. The future can feel uncertain, and uncertainty often creates anxiety. People try to control every outcome, but life rarely follows perfect plans. Prayer teaches the heart to release that need for control. It encourages trust that the future is not random, but guided by a higher wisdom. When someone lets go of constant worry, the mind becomes calmer. Faith does not remove every challenge, but it changes how someone faces those challenges. Instead of fear, there is patience. Instead of panic, there is quiet confidence. This prayer asks God to protect the future and guide every step. It seeks courage to face the unknown and the assurance that tomorrow still holds new opportunities. Many people experience moments when they feel emotionally exhausted. Responsibilities continue to grow, yet personal energy begins to fade. Work, family duties, and daily stress can slowly drain the spirit. Prayer becomes a place of renewal during these seasons. It allows someone to step away from constant pressure and reconnect with a deeper source of strength. When the heart rests in prayer, new energy often appears, the mind becomes clearer, and problems begin to look more manageable. This prayer asks God to restore strength to the tired soul. It seeks renewed motivation, emotional balance, and the ability to continue moving forward with confidence. Doubt sometimes appears during difficult situations. A person may question whether their prayers truly matter or whether change is possible. These thoughts can quietly weaken faith. Prayer itself becomes the answer to those doubts. The act of speaking with God keeps the connection alive even when certainty feels distant. Many believers discover that faith grows stronger after moments of questioning. The journey through doubt often leads to deeper understanding and stronger trust. This prayer asks God to strengthen belief during uncertain times. It invites clarity, reassurance, and the courage to continue trusting even when answers are not immediate. Gratitude is an important part of every powerful prayer. When people focus only on problems, their hearts can become discouraged. But remembering blessings creates a different perspective. Prayer allows believers to thank God for protection, opportunities, and the simple gifts of everyday life. Gratitude shifts the mind away from negativity and toward appreciation. This change in mindset brings emotional healing. Instead of feeling defeated, the heart begins to recognize the many ways life still holds goodness. This prayer includes gratitude for both visible blessings and unseen protection. It reminds the believer that even during hardship, there are reasons to remain thankful. Forgiveness is another important step in emotional healing. Holding anger toward others can quietly poison the heart. The pain continues long after the original event has passed. Prayer gives a person the strength to release resentment. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting the past, but it allows someone to move forward without carrying bitterness. When forgiveness happens, the heart becomes lighter and more peaceful. Emotional energy that was once trapped in anger becomes free again. This prayer asks God to help the believer forgive those who cause pain. It seeks freedom from resentment and the ability to build a future without emotional chains. Many people hope for a moment when everything suddenly changes. They dream of a breakthrough that removes every difficulty. While life rarely changes overnight, steady faith can lead to powerful transformation. Prayer supports that transformation step by step. Each sincere prayer strengthens patience, wisdom, and emotional balance. Over time, these changes create a new direction in life. Problems that once felt impossible begin to lose their control. This prayer asks God for steady progress and lasting growth. It seeks healing not only for today, but for the future as well. At the end of every sincere prayer, there is a sense of surrender. The believer recognizes that not every answer arrives immediately, yet trust remains strong. Prayer teaches patience and hope at the same time. It reminds people that their lives are part of a greater plan that continues to unfold. When someone finishes praying, they often feel calmer and more hopeful. The problems may still exist, but the heart now carries new strength. This prayer closes with confidence in God's guidance. It leaves every concern in His care and moves forward with faith, peace, and renewed courage. Life sometimes places people in seasons where progress feels slow. Days pass, yet the situation seems unchanged. When effort does not bring quick results, frustration begins to grow. The heart may start to wonder if anything will truly improve. Prayer helps a person remain steady during those slow seasons. It creates space to breathe and think clearly. Instead of reacting with stress, the mind becomes patient and calm. Prayer reminds the believer that progress often happens quietly, even when it cannot be seen immediately. Many breakthroughs appear after long periods of waiting. During that time, strength and wisdom are slowly being built. Prayer keeps the heart connected to hope, while that unseen preparation continues. This prayer asks God to provide patience and quiet confidence. It invites peace during the waiting season and trusts that positive change is still moving forward. At times, people feel overwhelmed by responsibilities. Work demands attention. Family needs support. Daily obligations continue to grow. When everything arrives at once, it becomes easy to feel exhausted and mentally drained. Prayer offers a moment to step away from that pressure. It allows someone to place their concerns before God and ask for clarity. In that calm moment, the mind begins to organize thoughts again. Often the solution to overwhelming situations begins with simple focus. Prayer helps the heart slow down and see which steps truly matter. It replaces confusion with thoughtful direction. This prayer asks God for wisdom and balance. It seeks the ability to handle responsibilities without losing peace, health, or emotional strength. Sometimes fear enters quietly into a person's thoughts. It whispers doubts about the future and creates unnecessary worry. Fear can grow stronger when the mind focuses only on worst-case possibilities. Prayer shifts attention away from fear and toward hope. When someone speaks honestly before God, they begin to remember that challenges do not control their future. Faith encourages a healthier perspective. As fear loses its power, courage slowly returns. The heart becomes ready to face situations with a stronger mindset. Instead of expecting failure, the believer begins to expect growth. This prayer asks God to replace fear with confidence. It invites courage into the heart and strength into the mind so that life can be faced with calm determination. There are also moments when people question their purpose. They wonder why certain events happened or why their path looks different from others. These questions can create deep confusion. Prayer allows a person to ask those questions honestly. Instead of hiding doubt, the believer can speak openly and seek understanding. This honesty builds a stronger relationship with God. Over time, purpose often becomes clearer through patience and reflection. Many meaningful directions appear slowly rather than suddenly. Prayer keeps the heart open while that direction unfolds. This prayer asks God for guidance and clarity. It invites wisdom for the future and the courage to follow the path that leads to a meaningful life. Some people carry guilt from past mistakes. Memories of poor decisions or painful moments can remain heavy in the heart. These thoughts sometimes return when someone is trying to move forward. Prayer reminds believers that growth is always possible. A mistake does not define a person's entire future. When someone sincerely seeks forgiveness and change, a new chapter can begin. Letting go of guilt allows the heart to heal. Instead of staying trapped in regret, the believer learns from the past and walks toward a better future. This prayer asks God for forgiveness, renewal, and emotional freedom. It seeks the strength to leave old mistakes behind and move forward with hope. Relationships can also become a source of pain. Misunderstandings, arguments, and broken trust sometimes damage important connections. These situations can leave someone feeling hurt or disappointed. Prayer offers a moment to step back and reflect before reacting with anger. It helps the heart choose patience and understanding instead of immediate judgment. Many relationships have been restored through calm conversation and sincere effort. Prayer prepares the heart for those conversations by creating humility and compassion. This prayer asks God to bring healing into relationships. It seeks understanding, forgiveness, and the ability to rebuild trust where it has been damaged. There are moments when the mind becomes crowded with negative thoughts. Worry, comparison, and self-doubt can fill every quiet moment. Over time, this mental noise can make life feel heavier than it truly is. Prayer helps clear that mental space. When someone focuses on calm conversation with God, distracting thoughts begin to fade. The mind becomes quieter and more focused. In that quiet place, a person can begin to see solutions and opportunities again. Hope returns because the mind is no longer controlled by constant worry. This prayer asks God to bring clarity and calm thinking. It seeks freedom from overwhelming thoughts and invites peace into the mind. Hope is a powerful force in human life. When people believe tomorrow can be better, they continue moving forward even during difficulty. Hope gives strength to endure challenges. Prayer strengthens that hope. It reminds believers that their life story is still being written. A difficult chapter does not mean the entire story will remain painful. Many people look back and realize that their hardest seasons eventually led to growth and wisdom. Prayer helps someone hold on until that realization arrives. This prayer asks God to renew hope and restore joy. It invites encouragement into the heart so the believer can keep walking forward with confidence. Sometimes the greatest healing happens quietly within the mind. When someone changes their thinking, the entire direction of life can improve. Negative patterns begin to fade and healthier habits appear. Prayer supports this transformation by encouraging reflection and awareness. It helps the believer notice which thoughts are helpful and which ones bring unnecessary stress. Over time, consistent prayer builds emotional strength. The mind becomes trained to respond with patience, understanding, and calm focus. This prayer asks God to guide the mind toward healthy thinking. It seeks wisdom to choose thoughts that bring peace rather than confusion. Life is a journey filled with both challenges and victories. Every person experiences moments of struggle, yet those moments can also shape character and strength. Prayer remains a steady companion throughout that journey. Whether the day is joyful or difficult, speaking with God keeps the heart balanced and focused. As faith continues to grow, the believer learns to face life with courage and patience. Each prayer becomes a step toward deeper peace and stronger purpose. This prayer asks God to guide every step ahead. It seeks healing for past wounds, strength for present challenges, and hope for the future that is still unfolding. Conclusion. Dear God, today we come before you with humble hearts. Many people listening to this prayer are carrying silent burdens. Some are seeking healing. Some need strength. Others are asking for freedom from worry and fear. You know every need even before we speak. Please bring peace into every troubled heart. Restore health where the body feels weak. Provide courage where the spirit feels tired. Let hope grow again in places where discouragement once lived. Guide each person toward a life filled with wisdom, patience, and purpose. Help them walk forward with confidence, knowing they are not facing life alone. May this prayer bring comfort, healing, strength, and renewed faith to every listener today. Amen. There are moments in life when people feel completely drained. Responsibilities continue to increase, but energy begins to fade. The body feels tired, and the mind struggles to stay focused. Many people experience this quiet exhaustion without telling anyone around them. Prayer becomes a place of renewal during these moments. It allows someone to slow down and reconnect with a deeper source of strength. Instead of pushing forward with stress, the heart finds calm and balance through sincere prayer. When the mind rests in prayer, clarity often returns. Problems that once looked impossible begin to look manageable again. The heart remembers that strength does not only come from personal effort, but also from faith and patience. This prayer asks God to restore energy and motivation. It invites renewed strength so that each person listening can continue their journey with confidence and hope. Sometimes life brings unexpected changes that no one prepared for. A sudden challenge can disrupt plans and create uncertainty about the future. These moments often test patience and emotional stability. Prayer provides stability when circumstances feel unstable. It reminds the believer that even unexpected situations can lead to growth and new opportunities. Speaking with God helps the mind adjust to change with courage instead of fear. Many people discover that new paths appear after difficult changes. What once seemed like a setback eventually becomes a turning point towards something better. This prayer asks God for guidance during times of change. It seeks wisdom to navigate uncertainty and the courage to accept new beginnings. Comparison with others can quietly damage a person's confidence. Seeing the success or progress of someone else may create feelings of inadequacy. Over time, these comparisons can lead to discouragement. Prayer helps shift the focus away from comparison and back to personal purpose. Every life follows a unique path, and growth happens at different times for different people. When someone prays sincerely, they begin to recognize their own value and potential. Instead of measuring life against others, they focus on improving their own journey. This prayer asks God to strengthen self-confidence and remind each listener that their life has meaning, purpose, and unique opportunities. Many people struggle with stress caused by constant responsibilities. The pressure to succeed, provide, and solve problems can become overwhelming. Over time, stress begins to affect both emotional and physical health. Prayer creates a healthy pause in the middle of busy life. It allows someone to step away from the noise and reconnect with inner peace. During prayer, the mind slows down and the heart becomes calmer. This peaceful moment can change the entire direction of the day. This prayer asks God to replace stress with calm thinking and emotional balance. It invites peace into the mind so each challenge can be handled with clarity. Sometimes the greatest struggle is simply believing that things will improve. After repeated disappointments, hope can begin to fade. A person may start expecting problems instead of solutions. Prayer restores the ability to believe again. When someone places their trust in God, hope begins to grow slowly but steadily. Even small improvements can rebuild confidence in the future. With each step forward, the heart remembers that change is always possible. This prayer asks God to renew belief and optimism. It invites fresh hope into every situation where discouragement once existed. There are also moments when someone feels lost about what decision to make next. Life presents many choices, and not every option leads to the same result. Making the wrong decision can create fear. Prayer helps calm the mind before making important choices. It encourages thoughtful reflection instead of rushed decisions. When the mind becomes quiet, wisdom often appears naturally. The person begins to recognize which direction feels right and meaningful. This prayer asks God for clear guidance in every decision. It seeks wisdom to choose paths that lead toward peace, growth, and purpose. Many people carry silent worries about the people they love. Concerns about family members, friends, or children can create deep emotional pressure. Prayer allows someone to release those worries into God's care. Instead of carrying every burden alone, the believer trusts that divine protection is always present. This act of trust often brings immediate comfort. The heart becomes lighter because responsibility is shared with a higher power. This prayer asks God to protect loved ones and guide their lives. It seeks peace for every family facing uncertainty or difficulty. Life also includes moments when patience is tested. Progress may appear slow, and goals may take longer than expected. Waiting can sometimes feel frustrating. Prayer teaches the heart to remain steady during these delays. Instead of losing hope, the believer learns to trust that timing has purpose. Many successful journeys include seasons of waiting that eventually lead to meaningful breakthroughs. This prayer asks God for patience and perseverance. It invites strength to continue moving forward even when progress feels slow. Some people struggle with negative voices from the past. Words spoken by others long ago may still affect confidence today. Prayer helps silence those harmful memories. It reminds the believer that their value is not defined by criticism or past judgment. When someone begins to believe in their own worth again, new possibilities appear. Confidence slowly replaces self-doubt. This prayer asks God to heal emotional wounds created by past words. It invites self-respect and renewed courage. Every new day offers an opportunity to begin again. Yesterday's challenges do not have to control today's choices. Growth always starts with a fresh step forward. Prayer prepares the heart for that new beginning. It encourages gratitude for the chance to try again and improve. With faith and determination, small changes can lead to meaningful transformation over time. This prayer asks God to bless the new day with strength, healing, and positive direction for every listener. The human heart often carries silent battles that no one else can see. A person may smile in public, complete daily tasks, and appear strong, yet inside they feel deeply tired. These hidden struggles slowly build pressure in the mind. Without a place to release those feelings, the weight becomes heavier each day. Prayer creates a safe space where those hidden emotions can finally be expressed. Instead of pretending to be strong all the time, the believer can speak honestly about fear, disappointment, and pain. This honest conversation brings a sense of relief because the burden is no longer carried alone. Many people experience emotional healing simply by opening their hearts in prayer. The act of sharing worries with God helps organize confused thoughts. Slowly, the heart begins to regain balance and hope. This prayer asks God to bring comfort to every hidden struggle. It invites healing for the emotions that have been quietly hurting for a long time. Life sometimes tests patience in ways that feel unfair. A person may work hard, make wise choices, and still face unexpected obstacles. These moments can create frustration and confusion about why certain challenges appear. Prayer allows the believer to pause before reacting with anger or discouragement. It encourages reflection and trust instead of quick judgment. When someone speaks with God during these moments, their perspective begins to shift. Often the lessons hidden inside difficult seasons become clear only after time passes. What once felt like an unfair obstacle eventually reveals itself as an opportunity for growth and strength. This prayer asks God to provide patience during confusing seasons. It invites peace and understanding while the larger purpose slowly becomes visible. Some days bring emotional heaviness that seems to arrive without explanation. A person may wake up feeling discouraged even when nothing specific has gone wrong. These quiet emotional waves can affect motivation and confidence. Prayer becomes a powerful tool for navigating those moments. Speaking calmly with God allows the mind to slow down and reconnect with hope. Instead of allowing sadness to grow, the believer turns toward comfort and reassurance. Over time, this habit of prayer strengthens emotional stability. The heart learns how to recover more quickly from discouraging thoughts. This prayer asks God to lift heavy feelings and restore inner peace. It invites joy to return even during quiet and uncertain days. People often search for direction when they reach a crossroads in life. Important decisions about work, relationships, or personal goals can create uncertainty. Choosing the wrong path feels frightening. Prayer helps the mind become still before making those choices. Instead of rushing into a decision, the believer takes time to listen, reflect, and consider what truly matters. Many wise decisions are made after moments of calm reflection through prayer. When the heart becomes peaceful, the right direction often becomes clearer. This prayer asks God to guide every important decision. It invites wisdom and clarity for the path ahead. There are times when discouragement comes from repeated setbacks. A person may try again and again, yet the results remain the same. After many attempts, motivation can begin to fade. Prayer reminds the believer that persistence is valuable. Many achievements in life require multiple attempts before success appears. Faith helps someone continue when quitting feels easier. The strength gained through persistence often becomes more valuable than the success itself. Prayer supports that endurance by renewing determination. This prayer asks God to strengthen perseverance. It invites courage to keep trying even when progress feels slow. Every person experiences moments of uncertainty about their abilities. Doubt may whisper that they are not strong enough or talented enough to reach their goals. These thoughts can limit growth. Prayer challenges those negative voices by reminding the believer of their true value. When someone turns to God for strength, they begin to see themselves through a more hopeful perspective. Confidence slowly grows when faith replaces self-doubt. The heart becomes willing to try again with renewed determination. This prayer asks God to build confidence and courage. It invites strength to pursue meaningful goals without fear. Sometimes the greatest healing comes through quiet reflection. Life moves quickly, and many people rarely pause to examine their thoughts and emotions. Without reflection, important lessons may be missed. Prayer creates a peaceful moment for that reflection. It encourages honesty about personal strengths, weaknesses, and desires. Through this process, the believer gains deeper understanding about their life path. Clarity replaces confusion, and purpose becomes stronger. This prayer asks God to bring insight and understanding. It invites wisdom that helps guide daily choices. Many people carry worry about things they cannot control. They imagine future problems that may never happen. This habit of constant worry steals peace from the present moment. Prayer teaches the heart to release those unnecessary fears. Instead of predicting worst-case outcomes, the believer places their trust in God's care. This shift in thinking creates emotional freedom. The mind becomes calmer because it no longer tries to control every possibility. This prayer asks God to remove unnecessary worry. It invites peace and trust for the future. Life also includes moments when gratitude becomes difficult. During hard seasons, it can feel easier to focus only on problems. Yet gratitude remains one of the strongest sources of emotional healing. Prayer encourages the believer to notice the good that still exists. Even small blessings become meaningful reminders that life continues to offer hope. Gratitude changes the atmosphere of the heart. It transforms discouragement into appreciation and renews motivation. This prayer asks God to open the eyes of every listener to the blessings already present in their lives. Each new day provides another chance to grow stronger in faith and character. No matter what happened yesterday, today offers fresh possibilities. Prayer prepares the heart for that opportunity. It encourages determination, patience, and trust. When someone begins the day with prayer, they carry a sense of purpose into every situation. This prayer asks God to guide the day ahead and fill it with strength, healing, and renewed hope. There are moments when a person feels as if life has slowed to a painful crawl. Days pass with the same worries repeating again and again. Efforts seem unnoticed, and progress feels distant. This kind of season can quietly test a person's patience and emotional strength. Prayer becomes the quiet place where frustration can be released without judgment. Speaking honestly about disappointment helps the heart regain balance. Instead of allowing negative thoughts to grow stronger, the believer places those concerns before God. Through consistent prayer, patience begins to grow in unexpected ways. The heart slowly learns that not every season is meant for visible success. Some seasons are meant for preparation and inner growth. This prayer asks God to bring peace during seasons of slow progress. It invites patience, emotional stability, and the faith to believe that meaningful change is still unfolding. Sometimes people look back at their lives and wonder if they made the right choices. Memories of missed opportunities or past mistakes can create a feeling of regret. These thoughts may appear suddenly and disturb the peace of the present moment. Prayer provides a way to release that regret and accept the past with wisdom. Instead of replaying painful memories, the believer learns to see those moments as lessons rather than permanent failures. Many people eventually realize that even their mistakes shape their character and strength. Through reflection and prayer, those difficult experiences become valuable teachers. This prayer asks God to transform regret into wisdom. It invites emotional healing and the ability to move forward without carrying unnecessary guilt. There are days when responsibilities feel heavier than usual. Work demands attention, family needs support, and personal goals require energy. Trying to balance all these areas can make someone feel overwhelmed. Prayer helps create a moment of calm before stress takes control. It allows the mind to step back and view responsibilities with clearer focus. Instead of reacting with panic, the believer approaches challenges with patience. This calm perspective often leads to better decisions and healthier emotional responses. Prayer does not remove responsibilities, but it changes how someone carries them. This prayer asks God to provide balance and strength for daily responsibilities. It invites wisdom to manage life with peace instead of pressure. Some people quietly struggle with the feeling that their efforts are not appreciated. They work hard, support others, and try to do what is right, yet recognition rarely comes. Over time, this can create discouragement. Prayer reminds the believer that true value does not depend on human approval. God sees every effort, every act of kindness, and every moment of patience that others may overlook. When someone understands this truth, they gain a deeper sense of purpose. Their motivation no longer depends on recognition from others. This prayer asks God to strengthen self-worth and remind each listener that their efforts and kindness truly matter. Fear of failure can sometimes prevent people from trying new opportunities. The possibility of making mistakes creates hesitation and self-doubt. This fear quietly limits growth and exploration. Prayer encourages courage by shifting focus away from failure and toward learning. Every successful journey includes moments where mistakes became valuable lessons. When someone trusts that growth is more important than perfection, fear begins to lose its power. The heart becomes willing to try again with renewed determination. This prayer asks God to replace fear with courage. It invites strength to pursue meaningful goals without hesitation. Life occasionally brings moments where the path ahead feels completely unclear. Plans may change suddenly, leaving a person uncertain about what direction to take next. Prayer provides guidance during these crossroads. By slowing down and seeking wisdom, the believer creates space for thoughtful decisions instead of rushed reactions. Many people discover that clarity appears when the mind becomes calm. Prayer helps the heart listen more carefully to the direction that feels right. This prayer asks God to illuminate the path forward. It invites guidance, patience, and confidence for every step ahead. There are times when emotional wounds from the past continue to influence the present. Words spoken years ago or painful experiences may still affect confidence and peace. Prayer becomes a healing conversation where those wounds can be acknowledged. Instead of ignoring the pain, the believer places it before God with honesty. Over time, this openness allows emotional healing to begin. Old memories lose their power, and the heart becomes stronger. This prayer asks God to restore emotional strength and remove the lingering pain of past experiences. Many people struggle with constant mental noise. Thoughts about work, finances, relationships, and responsibilities fill every quiet moment. Prayer brings a peaceful pause in that noise. It invites the mind to slow down and focus on calm reflection. During these moments of stillness, the heart becomes lighter and more centered. Stressful thoughts lose their intensity. This prayer asks God to quiet the mind and bring mental clarity. It invites peaceful thinking and emotional balance. Sometimes people wonder if their efforts will truly lead to something meaningful. The journey may feel long and uncertain. Prayer reminds the believer that meaningful results often appear after steady dedication and patience. Every small step contributes to a larger purpose. Faith helps someone continue moving forward even when immediate results are not visible. This prayer asks God to strengthen perseverance and renew motivation for the journey ahead. Life is filled with seasons of change. Some changes bring excitement, while others arrive unexpectedly and create uncertainty. Prayer helps the heart adjust to these transitions with calm trust instead of fear. Through prayer, the believer learns to view change as an opportunity for growth and new beginnings. This prayer asks God to guide every transition and bring peace during moments of uncertainty. There are nights when sleep becomes difficult because the mind refuses to rest. Thoughts circle around the same worries again and again. The quiet of the night sometimes makes problems feel even larger than they really are. Prayer becomes a gentle conversation during those restless moments. Instead of fighting the thoughts alone, the believer speaks honestly about the fears that are keeping the mind awake. As the heart begins to release those worries, the body slowly relaxes. The mind becomes calmer because the burden has been shared rather than carried alone. This prayer asks God to bring peaceful rest to every troubled mind. It invites comfort, calm breathing, and the quiet assurance that tomorrow will bring new strength. There are times when someone feels surrounded by uncertainty. Plans may change unexpectedly, and familiar routines may suddenly disappear. This type of disruption can create deep anxiety about what comes next. Prayer helps a person stand steady during these moments. When everything around them feels unstable, speaking with God provides emotional grounding. Faith reminds the believer that change does not mean abandonment. Even when the path becomes unfamiliar, guidance is still available. This prayer asks God to provide stability during uncertain times. It seeks calm thinking and the strength to move forward step by step. Some people carry disappointment from dreams that did not happen the way they expected. Goals that once felt close may seem far away after unexpected obstacles. Prayer helps transform disappointment into renewed determination. Instead of focusing on what was lost, the believer begins to consider new possibilities. Many meaningful achievements appear after someone decides to begin again with a stronger mindset. Prayer encourages that fresh beginning. This prayer asks God to restore motivation and open new doors of opportunity. It invites courage to pursue the future with hope. There are moments when someone feels invisible in the world. They work hard, help others, and try to live with kindness, yet their efforts seem unnoticed. Prayer reminds the believer that true value does not depend on public recognition. God sees every quiet act of goodness and every moment of patience. Understanding this truth brings a deep sense of peace. A person begins to realize that their life carries meaning even when applause is absent. This prayer asks God to strengthen inner confidence and remind each listener that their life and actions truly matter. Life can sometimes place a person in a season where they feel misunderstood. Their intentions may be good, yet others misinterpret their actions or words. Prayer offers a space where the believer can release that frustration without bitterness. Instead of holding resentment, they seek wisdom and patience. Often, understanding grows when people approach situations with calmness rather than anger. Prayer prepares the heart for that kind of response. This prayer asks God to bring clarity and harmony into relationships. It invites understanding where confusion once existed. Many people experience moments when motivation begins to fade. Tasks that once felt exciting may start to feel exhausting. Prayer renews the sense of purpose behind daily efforts. It reminds the believer why their work and responsibilities matter. When someone reconnects with purpose, energy slowly returns. Even small progress begins to feel meaningful again. This prayer asks God to restore passion and determination for the journey ahead. There are days when the heart feels heavy without a clear reason. Emotional weight sometimes appears quietly and affects the entire day. Prayer becomes a source of emotional balance during those moments. Speaking with God allows hidden feelings to be acknowledged and released. As the conversation continues, the heaviness begins to lift. Hope returns little by little. This prayer asks God to replace emotional weight with peace and encouragement. People sometimes struggle with the feeling that they are not strong enough for the challenges they face. Difficult responsibilities can create doubt about personal ability. Prayer reminds the believer that strength grows during difficult experiences. Challenges often reveal abilities that were hidden before. When someone trusts that God is helping them grow stronger, fear slowly loses its control. This prayer asks God to provide courage and confidence for every challenge ahead. There are moments when life becomes busy and noisy. Responsibilities, conversations, and constant information make it difficult to find quiet reflection. Prayer creates a sacred pause in the middle of that noise. It allows the mind to slow down and reconnect with deeper thoughts. During this quiet moment, clarity often appears. The believer begins to see which priorities truly matter. This prayer asks God to provide peaceful moments of reflection and clear direction. Sometimes People feel discouraged when they compare their progress to others. Seeing someone else succeed faster can create doubt about personal achievements. Prayer helps redirect attention back to personal growth. Each life moves at its own pace, and every journey is unique. When someone focuses on their own progress, confidence returns and motivation becomes stronger. This prayer asks God to protect the heart from harmful comparison and to strengthen appreciation for personal growth. Life also includes moments when gratitude becomes especially powerful. When a person pauses to recognize blessings, the atmosphere of the heart changes completely. Prayer encourages this gratitude by reminding the believer of the many ways they have been supported and protected. Gratitude brings emotional healing because it shifts attention from problems to possibilities. This prayer asks God to open the eyes of every listener so they can recognize the blessings already present in their lives. There are seasons when patience becomes the most important skill a person can develop. Progress may take longer than expected, and quick answers may not appear. Prayer strengthens patience by reminding the believer that meaningful results often require time. Waiting becomes easier when someone trusts that growth is happening even during quiet seasons. This prayer asks God to provide patience and steady faith during times of waiting. Sometimes the greatest transformation happens quietly inside the heart. Changes in thinking and attitude can slowly reshape the entire direction of life. Prayer supports that transformation by encouraging reflection and awareness. As the believer grows spiritually and emotionally, their reactions to challenges begin to change. This prayer asks God to guide this inner transformation and help every listener grow stronger in wisdom and character. Every journey includes moments of uncertainty and moments of victory. Both experiences contribute to personal growth and understanding. Prayer becomes the steady companion through every part of that journey. When someone remains connected to God through prayer, they discover strength they did not know they had. This prayer asks God to guide every step of the journey and fill each day with renewed hope. Life sometimes feels like a storm that never ends. The wind of challenges, financial pressure, and emotional strain can leave someone feeling battered and exhausted. In those moments, hope can feel fragile, and the heart may struggle to believe that calm will ever return. Prayer becomes a refuge from the storm. It allows the believer to release fear, anger, and worry into God's hands. Speaking honestly about the heaviness of life brings a sense of relief and renewed strength. When the heart entrusts its burdens, clarity emerges from chaos. Problems may still exist, but the believer gains peace in knowing they are not carrying them alone. This prayer asks God to bring calm into the stormy moments. It invites inner peace, courage, and renewed hope for brighter days ahead. There are times when loneliness can feel overwhelming. Even when surrounded by people, the heart may feel disconnected and unseen. This silent ache often grows heavier when left unspoken. Prayer reminds the believer that they are never truly alone. God's presence is constant, even in moments of isolation, offering companionship and quiet reassurance. As the heart leans into this divine presence, loneliness slowly loses its grip. Emotional warmth and hope begin to replace the emptiness. This prayer asks God to fill every lonely heart with peace and companionship. It invites comfort and the gentle reminder that each life is seen, loved, and valued. Sometimes the past lingers in ways that hold someone back. Old mistakes, regrets, and disappointments replay in the mind, preventing forward movement and inner peace. Prayer provides a safe space to release the weight of yesterday. The believer acknowledges the pain and seeks guidance to move beyond it. Through prayer, emotional healing begins. The heart learns that growth is possible and that the past does not define the future. This prayer asks God to heal the wounds of yesterday. It seeks freedom from regret, restoration of hope, and the courage to embrace tomorrow. Many people face moments when fear about the future overshadows everything else. The unknown can feel threatening, and uncertainty breeds anxiety. Prayer allows the heart to surrender those fears. By placing trust in God, the believer shifts focus from worry to hope and from panic to calm faith. As the fear subsides, courage and confidence begin to grow. Challenges no longer feel insurmountable, and the heart is empowered to take one step at a time. This prayer asks God to replace fear with strength and trust. It invites clarity, courage, and assurance in every uncertain situation. There are days when discouragement seeps in without warning. Even small setbacks can feel monumental, and motivation may fade under the weight of repeated difficulties. Prayer strengthens the heart during these moments. It brings focus to what is possible, shifts perspective away from despair, and reminds the believer of inner strength. Faith begins to grow as hope is nurtured. Motivation returns as the believer recognizes that setbacks are temporary and can lead to growth. This prayer asks God to restore courage and determination. It invites hope to rise again in the midst of discouragement. Sometimes emotional exhaustion makes every task feel overwhelming. The mind is heavy, the heart is tired, and even simple responsibilities seem daunting. Prayer offers a moment of rest and renewal. By speaking openly, the believer allows the burdens to be shared, giving space for mental clarity and emotional recovery. Through prayer, the heart and mind begin to regain strength. Energy returns not only for daily tasks, but for the continued journey of life. This prayer asks God to replenish strength and restore focus. It invites renewed energy and peace for every listener. There are times when relationships feel strained or broken. Misunderstandings, conflicts, or distance can create emotional pain and sadness. Prayer allows the believer to seek healing for both the heart and the connection. It encourages patience, understanding, and the desire for reconciliation. As the heart prays, compassion and wisdom grow. Opportunities for forgiveness and restoration begin to appear, often when least expected. This prayer asks God to mend broken relationships. It invites harmony, empathy, and the strength to forgive and heal. Some people carry heavy burdens of guilt or shame. Past actions may haunt them, creating feelings of unworthiness and despair. Prayer provides a way to release those burdens. Acknowledging mistakes and asking for guidance allows the heart to heal and find peace. Through prayer, guilt loses its power. The believer begins to embrace forgiveness, self-compassion, and the opportunity to start anew. This prayer asks God to cleanse guilt and restore confidence. It invites freedom, redemption, and hope for a brighter future. Life often presents challenges that feel impossible to overcome. The weight of responsibilities, unexpected events, or personal struggles can create a sense of helplessness. Prayer reminds the believer that divine guidance is available. Trusting in God provides a source of strength and wisdom, even when solutions are not immediately clear. Through prayer, resilience grows. The heart becomes capable of facing difficulties with patience, hope, and renewed determination. This prayer asks God to provide guidance and resilience. It invites courage and strength to overcome life's greatest challenges. Sometimes the mind becomes clouded by constant worry. Thoughts about what might happen, what could go wrong, and what is uncertain dominate every quiet moment. Prayer creates clarity and mental peace. By focusing on faith, trust, and hope, the believer begins to release unnecessary stress and negative thinking. As peace returns, the mind becomes sharper and the heart feels lighter. Confidence replaces anxiety, and the day can be approached with calm assurance. This prayer asks God to quiet the mind and bring clarity. It invites peace, focus, and emotional balance in every situation. There are seasons when it feels like the weight of life will never lift. Challenges pile upon one another, leaving the heart tired and the spirit weary. Prayer allows the believer to release that weight. By acknowledging limitations and seeking divine strength, hope begins to grow in the heart once more. Even in the heaviest seasons, small steps toward healing create momentum. Prayer sustains the spirit through every moment of struggle. This prayer asks God to lighten the load and restore hope. It invites peace, endurance, and renewed faith in the journey ahead. Sometimes the heart needs to remember its true value. Criticism, comparison, and self-doubt can quietly erode confidence and create discouragement. Prayer reinforces self-worth and recognition of God-given gifts. It reminds the believer that their life has purpose, their efforts are meaningful, and their potential is limitless. Confidence slowly returns as faith strengthens. The heart becomes empowered to take action with courage and clarity. This prayer asks God to restore self-worth and confidence. It invites courage and hope to thrive in the face of doubt. There are times when hope feels distant. Life's challenges may seem endless, and faith can waver under the weight of repeated disappointments. Prayer rekindles hope by reminding the heart of past victories, small blessings, and God's enduring presence. Even in darkness, light begins to shine again. As hope is restored, energy returns for meaningful action. Patience and perseverance are strengthened, enabling the believer to continue their journey. This prayer asks God to renew hope and restore joy. It invites courage and persistence to face the challenges ahead. Some seasons bring unexpected trials that test patience and resilience. Challenges may appear without warning, leaving the heart anxious and uncertain. Prayer helps the believer stand firm in these trials. By seeking guidance and strength, the heart finds calm amidst turmoil. Over time, these challenges often reveal hidden wisdom and build character. Prayer sustains the spirit through every difficult moment. This prayer asks God to provide strength and wisdom. It invites courage and emotional resilience to navigate life's unexpected challenges. Life occasionally feels like an uphill battle with no visible end. Daily struggles, responsibilities, and setbacks can create frustration and fatigue. Prayer offers a steady source of strength. By speaking with God, the believer gains emotional support and clarity for the journey ahead. As faith deepens, perseverance grows. The heart becomes capable of facing challenges with determination, patience, and renewed hope. This prayer asks God to provide endurance and guidance. It invites renewed strength to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Some people silently carry fear of failure. The possibility of making mistakes can paralyze action and prevent progress toward meaningful goals. Prayer helps shift the focus from fear to faith. By trusting God, the believer embraces courage and takes steps forward even when uncertainty remains. With every step taken in faith, confidence grows. The heart learns that mistakes are opportunities for growth, not reasons to quit. This prayer asks God to replace fear with courage and determination. It invites confidence, resilience, and hope for every new endeavor. There are times when forgiveness is needed, but the heart feels too heavy to let go. Holding on to anger or resentment can quietly damage emotional health. Prayer provides the strength to release bitterness. It encourages patience, compassion, and understanding, allowing emotional wounds to heal. Through this process, peace begins to replace conflict. Relationships can begin to restore, and personal healing is strengthened. This prayer asks God to guide hearts toward forgiveness. It invites emotional freedom, reconciliation, and peace. Some people struggle with self-doubt and negative thinking. These thoughts can quietly sabotage confidence and create fear of failure. Prayer encourages the heart to focus on hope, faith, and potential. By acknowledging strengths and seeking guidance, self-doubt slowly loses its grip. As confidence returns, motivation and courage grow. The believer becomes ready to face challenges with a clear mind and resilient spirit. This prayer asks God to strengthen confidence and renew faith. It invites courage, hope, and clarity for every important step. Life sometimes brings deep emotional pain that feels unbearable. Loss, disappointment, or betrayal can leave a person feeling broken inside. Prayer offers comfort and healing. By opening the heart honestly, the believer allows the pain to be acknowledged and released. Healing does not always happen immediately, but prayer sustains the spirit and builds emotional strength over time. This prayer asks God to heal deep emotional wounds. It invites peace, hope, and restoration for the heart and mind. Many people carry burdens that are invisible to others. These hidden struggles create stress, sadness, or anxiety that is difficult to express. Prayer allows the believer to speak openly without fear of judgment. Sharing these burdens with God brings relief and emotional clarity. As the heart releases hidden weight, strength begins to return, peace replaces tension, and hope emerges once again. This prayer asks God to lift invisible burdens. It invites strength, clarity, and renewed faith to continue life's journey. There are seasons when life feels uncertain and directionless. Choices may feel overwhelming, and the future may appear unclear. Prayer provides guidance and reassurance during these times. By seeking wisdom and clarity, the heart finds focus amidst uncertainty. With patience and trust, the believer begins to recognize the right path forward. Prayer sustains hope while decisions are made. This prayer asks God to provide guidance, clarity, and confidence. It invites peace and wisdom for navigating uncertain seasons. Life sometimes challenges the spirit with repeated obstacles. Difficult circumstances can leave a person feeling frustrated and weary. Prayer strengthens the believer's resilience. By seeking divine support, the heart learns to approach challenges with calm determination. Over time, obstacles reveal hidden growth and understanding. The believer becomes stronger, wiser, and more prepared for future challenges. This prayer asks God to build resilience and patience. It invites renewed strength, hope, and perseverance for every trial. Sometimes, the greatest gift comes from inner reflection. Quiet moments of prayer help the heart process emotions, fears, and hopes in ways that nothing else can. Through these reflective prayers, clarity emerges. The believer begins to understand personal strengths, areas for growth, and the next steps forward. Inner reflection nurtures emotional balance. It transforms confusion into confidence and doubt into courage. This prayer asks God to guide hearts during reflective moments. It invites understanding, insight, and renewed direction. There are moments when faith feels weak. Challenges, disappointments, and unexpected trials can shake even the strongest belief. Prayer restores faith by reminding the heart of past victories, blessings, and divine guidance. It encourages trust in the journey ahead. As faith strengthens, courage and hope begin to grow. The believer learns to rely on God's wisdom rather than personal fear. This prayer asks God to renew faith and restore confidence. It invites courage, hope, and perseverance in every challenging situation. Sometimes healing is not just physical, but emotional and spiritual. Deep wounds within the heart may need attention and care. Prayer nurtures the healing process. By opening the heart and expressing vulnerability, the believer invites restoration on all levels. Over time, the heart begins to feel lighter. Emotional strength grows, and spiritual peace becomes more tangible. This prayer asks God to bring complete healing, body, mind, and spirit. It invites strength, renewal, and peace in every aspect of life. There are moments when hope seems distant and the future feels unclear. Uncertainty can create anxiety, fear, and doubt. Prayer restores hope by reminding the heart that every challenge has purpose and every journey can lead to growth. Even when the path ahead is uncertain, faith provides a steady foundation. The heart becomes ready to face what comes next with courage. This prayer asks God to renew hope and provide guidance. It invites clarity, peace, and confidence in the journey ahead. Life sometimes tests endurance in ways that feel exhausting. Continuous challenges can leave the heart weary and the spirit tired. Prayer sustains endurance by offering a source of strength beyond personal limits. The believer can release frustration and seek renewed courage. Over time, persistence and faith bring victories that might have seemed impossible at first. Prayer keeps the spirit resilient throughout the journey. This prayer asks God to strengthen endurance and restore energy. It invites patience, courage, and perseverance for every listener. Sometimes the heart needs reassurance of God's presence. Life's difficulties can create doubt or fear that they are alone in the struggle. Prayer reminds the believer that God is constant, attentive, and caring. Even when circumstances feel overwhelming, divine presence provides guidance and comfort. With this reassurance, the heart becomes stronger and hope is renewed. Faith grows and courage returns. This prayer asks God to affirm His presence and bring peace. It invites strength, comfort, and unwavering hope in every season. There are seasons when life feels overwhelming. The weight of responsibilities, emotional struggles, and future uncertainty can feel impossible to bear. Prayer offers a refuge in these moments. It allows the heart to surrender burdens and seek clarity, strength, and guidance. As the believer engages in sincere prayer, the mind becomes calm and the spirit is lifted. Problems remain, but the ability to face them is renewed. This prayer asks God to provide strength, clarity, and peace. It invites hope, courage, and guidance through every challenging season. Finally, there are moments when the heart longs for complete healing, not just temporary relief. The pain of life may feel persistent, yet God's presence can restore the soul entirely. Prayer opens the door to total restoration. By expressing needs, fears, and desires, the believer invites divine intervention for lasting transformation. Healing begins quietly, often imperceptibly at first, and gradually transforms every area of life. Faith, hope, and courage grow alongside emotional and spiritual recovery. This prayer asks God for full healing, strength, and renewed purpose. It invites peace, joy, and a life filled with faith, hope, and unshakable trust. No matter how heavy life feels, no matter how many challenges you face, know this: you are never alone. Every worry, every fear, every struggle you carry is seen, heard, and understood. The prayers you whisper, the silent cries of your heart are never wasted. God listens, and His power for healing, strength, and deliverance is greater than anything you face today. Take a deep breath and feel the weight lift just a little. Each prayer, no matter how small, is a seed planted in your life. Seeds of hope, seeds of courage, seeds of change. Even when answers do not come immediately, trust that the path is being prepared. Your heart is being strengthened, your spirit renewed, and your life is being guided toward peace, purpose, and restoration. Right now, in this very moment, you can surrender everything that feels broken, everything that feels heavy to God. Speak honestly. Let your heart pour out every fear, every burden, every hidden pain. Ask for healing where your body or mind feels weak. Ask for strength where your courage has faltered. Ask for deliverance where circumstances feel impossible. There is power in this prayer, power to transform despair into hope, weakness into resilience, and pain into purpose. So bow your head in faith. Close your eyes and let the words in your heart rise up. God, I give you my fears. I give you my struggles. Heal me, strengthen me, and guide me. Let your peace flood my heart. Let your power restore my life. Help me walk forward with hope, courage, and trust. Repeat this prayer, believe it with every fiber of your being, and feel the change begin even now. Remember, healing is not always immediate, but it is constant. Strength is not always visible, but it is growing. Deliverance is not always clear, but it is already on the way. Keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting. Every moment of faith brings you closer to the life you are meant to live, filled with hope, peace, and unstoppable strength.